All right, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. This interim meeting is really meant for information for the interim that's coming up for trimester 2, which is the last week in January. I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody that's here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I do want to welcome the Young and the Lawfer family, so thanks for logging in. But we do have with us, I don't know how many you can see, but we have Rick and Sierra, Annalise and Sally, Shiloh, Zoe, and Melissa. We'll bring it on over. Here you guys. Okay. Let's go ahead and get going. We're going to talk about trimester 2 introductory interim info, and Sierra was going to talk to us about that.
Is interim. You're going to have to unmute.
So I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone.
I thought I did. Interim in general is reverberating.
Sorry, go ahead.
Is usually a week, but some of our trips are longer depending on whether we go out of town or out of state. And it's a time to experience real life experiences beyond the classroom. We hope to apply curriculum and learning development both academically but extracurricularly as well. So experiencing things that we wouldn't get to experience in the classroom, seeing things we can't see from our classroom, and interacting with the world in a way that we can't do from our classroom. And that's pretty much the point. Let me push it here.
Thank you, Sierra. You might need to mute your sound. Okay, so the different trips that we're offering for January interim. So we have a Los Angeles, California trip that will focus on service learning. We also have a Denver trip for culture and college tours. We're going to have a Sylvan Lake hut trip. We also have several local trips. We have local ski and snowboarding. We also have local hot springs and escape rooms, greenhouse and art activities, and feeding the homeless. And we also, which I didn't put on this list, I apologize, have Telluride available as well. So we're basically, what we're going to do now is we're going to go through we're going to talk a little bit about interim norms and expectations and things, and then we will break out to each instructor that is in charge of those trips and talk about those. So the next thing we're going to have is Annalise and Zoe come over and talk about interim norms. So let's go ahead and get that started.
Hi, everyone. So the whole point behind interims is to give us experiences we don't normally have. And with that said, we do want students to come with a expectation to have fun and try new things and learn about themselves and others, because they will be hanging out with folks that maybe they don't hang out with consistently every single day. And both teachers and students are to come with a certain amount of respect, and they'll know that you might be going out of your comfort zone, which could feel stressful, but that's the whole point of this. So embrace it. Interims should challenge us to see outside of ourselves and participate in our greater community. Hopefully you will be exposed to a new area, new faces, and maybe new cultures or subcultures. That's the hope. And then hopefully everyone's going to learn something. It'd be pretty hard not to. And then lastly, I'm going to turn this over to Annalise, but we do want to have a sober time for ourselves, but also to represent our school and community. So here's Annalise.
Awesome. Lucky me, I get to talk about the fun stuff, huh? So it is important to remember that on interim trips, the students and faculty are representing Yampah Mountain High School, not just here locally, but every place that we go. So we have high expectations, and with those high expectations can have consequences for actions that are not what we are expecting. So drug and alcohol policy, it is probably more strict when we are out on interim trips than it is when we are here locally. Policy is if you are busted with drugs or alcohol on an interim trip, it means that you will lose your spot as you know it at Yampah Mountain High School. So just don't put yourself in that position, and please don't put us in the position of having to go there. That's all I really want to say about that right now. Oh, also, there is documentation in for every trip now where you will sign that you will be alcohol or drug-free while on interim trips. There is no bullying allowed as well. Anti-bullying. It's on the slide. I have to talk about it. You know, treat others the way that you want to be treated. We need to make sure that we're representing Yampah. We have that love and belonging here, and we want to take it not just inside the school, but outside the school as well.
Thank you.
All right, so Annalise is just going to stay where she is. We have our first interim offering, which is to California. So,
this is our 10th year in a row of going to Los Angeles on this service trip. Started in the living room of my brother-in-law's house where we threw down sleeping bags, and now we are at a youth hostel in Santa Monica, 1 block away from the ocean and the Santa Monica Pier. It is a spectacular beginning to a week of service. I'll let Annalise talk about some of the service opportunities, and then I will come back and talk about the fun stuff.
Great. So the trip will take place, we will leave Glenwood from Yampah Mountain High School around 5:30 in the morning on Saturday, January 26th, and we will return late in the evening, February 1st. The cost for the trip is $450. Move to the next slide. Awesome. Cool. As Rick mentioned, we will stay at the Santa Monica Youth Hostel, which is right in Santa Monica, like Rick said, about 1.5 blocks away from the Santa Monica Pier. Our service, we will feed the homeless at the Union Rescue Mission down in Skid Row. We will also volunteer for an organization called the Good Plus Foundation, where we'll be packaging or putting together donations from one organization to another organization. We volunteer at a place called Home, which is an after-school drop-in center in South Central LA, and we really are able to engage with some of those youth from that area. And then we'll be doing a project here locally before we leave on the trip where we'll donation items to give to the No Kill Shelter in Los Angeles, which is our volunteer opportunity with the No Kill Shelter. And then Rick's going to talk about all the fun things we're going to do while we're in California.
Because I'm the fun guy. One of the most meaningful things that we will be doing, and we've done every single year, and we believe that it's extremely important for every high school student to experience, is the Museum of Tolerance in Los Angeles, which is in conjunction with the Holocaust Museum. And so we'll be touring that, and just to make sure that kids never forget the evil that can happen in the world. Now, on to the really fun stuff. We will be doing a lot of just laugh out loud fun things. We will be hanging out at the Griffith Observatory, where you can hike all around, and if you even had the energy, you could hike all the way to that Hollywood sign. We'll be having lunch right in downtown at the Grand Central Market. We'll be going to the original Farmers Market. We will be having lots of fun all along the Santa Monica Pier in the boardwalk. Venice Beach is 2 miles down the boardwalk from Santa Monica, and for long boarders, we will have lots of opportunities to skate and to enjoy the Venice Beach skate park. We will be going to Hollywood to just hang out with the weirdos there. Venice Beach, of course, is just crazy and fun. We will also be spending a day at Universal Studios, which I have never been to, which I'm looking forward to greatly.
New to this year.
Yeah, this is our first year. We're changing it up. So a lot of great time to enjoy the beach, the ocean, a lot of service opportunities, and a heck of a lot of fun.
We do have a what to bring list, so make sure that you bring jeans or long pants. Even though we're going to California, it can get chilly, so you may bring layers. A swimming suit for jumping in the cold Pacific Ocean. Sweatshirts, light jackets, that's that part of that layer piece. Occasionally, some years we get a lot of rain. We are going in January, so you might want to bring a rain jacket. You do need to bring a beach towel because you cannot take the towels from the hostel to the beach. You need to bring appropriate pajamas. You'll want a pillow. You must bring one pair of closed-toed shoes. That's a requirement for the Union Rescue Mission when we feed the homeless. Also, it's really important to know that no low-cut shirts, no holey jeans, or sleeveless shirts for that opportunity, and we will make sure that we go over that again. You need to bring your own toiletries. Students for this trip are food while we're in California is paid for, but students are responsible for their own food or meals on travel days. So on the Saturday that we drive out to California and the Friday we come back, students are responsible for their food those days. And then any other extra money that they want for souvenirs, swag, etc.
Oh, and there's the two good-looking chaperones, young at heart. Okay. Thank you very much.
Our contact information if you have any other questions for us. Thanks.
All righty. So, thank you, Rick and Annalise. So we will have a little bit of question and answer time at the end. So if you have questions about any individual trip, you can send it that way. So the next trip to discuss is Denver with Shiloh. So there you go.
Hello. We're going to go to Denver. It's going to be a cultural museum, visit colleges kind of interim. There's my contact information. I'm also going with Donna Holly, who is our post-high school success person. She's our contact point for scholarships and applications. We're going to stay at my uncle's house. Oh, I hope this isn't a bad idea. So we are staying there for free, which cut down our costs considerably. He lives on 120th and Wadsworth in Broomfield, which is also luckily right next to the Butterfly Pavilion and Dave & Buster's. So on Tuesday, we're going to leave. That is going to be a regular departure from the school around 8:30, 9 o'clock. We're going to go down to the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. We're going to go to the planetarium and the IMAX, which is about the blue planet. That night, we'll have dinner and games at Dave & Buster's before we head over to my uncle's. Wednesday, we're going to go to Boulder. We're going to see CU, go see the observatory there. We may or may not go to the atmospheric research labs, and we may or may not end up at the Denver Theater of Performing Arts for a play. It's up in the air based on what students want to do. I haven't gotten a whole lot of feedback. On Thursday, we're going to go to CSU. We're going to check out that tech program, which is a worldwide renowned program. Also the biomedical program as well. And they got a new bug museum at CSU, so we're going to go see my old advisor. Oh, God, I hope that's not a bad idea. And then maybe go to the Lincoln Center for a ballet and dinner in Fort Collins. On Friday, we'll definitely go to Metro State. We may go to AUCC as well, and then we will return to our sunny and wonderful Glenwood Springs. Here's just some pictures. It's going to cost about $100 to $200 because I haven't figured out all of the pricing for all of the cultural stuff quite yet. I just need a little bit more feedback from student interest. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any point. Thanks.
All right. So our next presenter is Zoe, and she's going to talk about the Sylvan Lake trip.
Hi again. So Elida and I are leading a trip to Sylvan Lake. It's 2 nights and 2.5 days roundabout. And there's a picture of it. It's very beautiful and serene, and it's the easiest hut trip ever because you drive right up to the hut. And we have rented the big cabin, which is pretty sweet. Anyway, I'll get into that in just a moment, but it costs $75. It's from January 30th to February 1st, so 2 nights. We have a maximum of 10 students, and then Elida and myself. So it's going to be a pretty small group, which I think will be nice. And then we'll do some winter hikes. We're going to build something called a quinzee, which is kind of like an igloo, but it's a snow fort that people could potentially sleep in at night. And then we're going to go cross-country skiing, which is always a hoot, and cook some yummy things. I think we'll put a lot of focus on coming up with really tasty recipes that maybe are a little more complicated, more exciting. And then we'll go sledding and play plenty of games. So cabin details. This is important. There's limited lighting and no electricity. So technology is not welcome on this trip, really, which is, I think, going to lend to the fun that we're going to have. There's one full bathroom with a shower, and there's a full kitchen. So students need to bring a headlamp and flashlight so they can see around. And also we'll go on a night hike, so that'll be pretty critical. A headlamp is definitely recommended. Have indoor clothing, including pajamas and such, and then really good outdoor winter clothing. And we will really prep on this. I want to make sure everybody brings what they need to, especially some good winter boots and gloves, hats, etc. Water bottle is good to bring. Toiletries, sleeping bag, and pillow. Sled, shovel, camp chair if you want extra seating and some snacks. What I will also encourage folks to do is bring a musical instrument. So several of us are musicians, and hopefully we'll have some jam sessions. Oh, and that's it. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, holler at me.
All right, so the one that wasn't on the list on the first page is Telluride that Sierra is going to speak about.
All right. We can go, we will be leaving actually on Monday. Telluride. Winter Adventures with Sierra. That's my contact. Okay, we will be leaving on Monday. It's a travel day. And we'll arrive in Telluride for lunch about that time. And then we'll head up to Trout Lake, which is up the path from Telluride, and we will be staying in a very old, actually the original cabin built on Trout Lake, first cabin ever built on the lake. Every night, except the last night, maybe night ski, hike, play, cook dinner, things like that. On Tuesday, there'll be avalanche training presented by San Juan Outdoor School. It's a full day opportunity to get serious avalanche training and play in the snow. On Wednesday, there'll be sledding, cross-country skiing, goofing around at the lake, maybe skating if it's in healthy condition for skating, and possibly ice fishing, those types of winter activities. Then on Thursday, we will join the San Juan Outdoor School again for ice climbing. And then in the afternoon, we'll drive down to Ouray and soak in the hot springs, spend the evening in Ouray, and drive back on Friday. All meals will take place at the cabin with the exception of dinner in Ouray and travel days. The cost as of right now is about $300 per kid because the lodging on the last night, and also we need to pay for ice climbing and avalanche safety classes are kind of the high-priced opportunities, but they are very real opportunities that are hard to come by in the world, especially at this cost, this price. And that's it. I'm also going to organizing the local ski and snowboarding opportunity, and that's 4 days of riding here in the valley. So 2 days in Aspen, maybe 1 day at Buttermilk Tie-Hack, and the next either at Buttermilk or at Highlands, depending on your ability level. And then 2 days at Sunlight ski area right here in Glenwood. Our days in Aspen are very kindly donated by Aspen Snowmass for equipment and tickets. And our days at Sunlight are $10 a ticket, $10 for equipment, and $20 for lessons if we have some never-evers that would like the opportunity to take lessons. If you're interested in lessons the whole time, you actually could get in contact with me because Aspen Snowmass has also very generously donated a certain number of lessons, ski lessons for beginners and never-evers. Things to bring every day for that include appropriate winter clothes, snow pants, jackets, good underlayers, wool socks, hats, gloves, goggles if you have them. And if you don't have that gear, get in touch with me because we have stuff we can loan from school. And then other than the $10 tickets and $10 rentals, you need to provide your own lunch or lunch money every day. The cost, thank you for creating this, Misty, is $20 to $40 depending on whether you have a pass to Sunlight and lunch, extra lunch money. That's it. If you have questions or need more information, you can always contact me at my phone number or my email listed below.
All right, so the next one is actually Melissa and I were doing a local trip to the hot springs and we're doing some escape rooms, so we're going to talk about that. So basically, Melissa and I are the trip leaders. You can get our email addresses right there. And the cost of this trip is $50. That's going to include basically access to the different escape rooms and some hot springs. All of this is from campus, so you bus in, bus out every day, and we will be visiting some local hot springs, Iron Mountain, and Avalanche Ranch, also a natural and Penny hot springs. We're also going to Frisco, to the Frisco escape rooms, and we'll be doing the Glenwood escape room as well, and possibly make our own escape room here on campus, or otherwise, that's still up in the works. And basically, that we're working on creative thinking and problem-solving skills with the escape rooms, and then get relaxed from that with the hot springs. So students need to bring swimming attire, towels, appropriate outerwear, because I know the Penny, you kind of have to hike down to it, so flip-flops probably not encouraged at that point. So, and yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, we have one day that's still sort of up in the air where we could maybe add another hot spring or maybe just do escape room stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Students will need to bring their own money for lunch, or we can pack some lunches from school to bring out. All righty. So.
Oh, $50.
Yes.
Yeah.
And $50. Thank you. So our next interim is local greenhouse and art, which I think Annalise is going to go ahead and talk about.
So the teachers or the advisors that are doing the local greenhouse and art would be Kim Willie and Liz Waters. Obviously, I'm neither one of those. My understanding of what is happening this week is 2 of the days, Wednesday and Friday, will be led by Kim Willie, and that will be sorting seeds and cooking and doing greenhouse activities with Kim. And then the Tuesday, Thursday of the week will be art activities with Liz. Unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to speak with her and find out exactly what those activities would be, but we do know that she will be here. My understanding is there will be no cost for this interim other than it's open campus for lunch. So the food that's here at the school, and or if students want to go out and get their lunch, they'd be responsible for that. And I think that covers that.
All right, and our next interim option is with Sally for feeding the homeless.
Hi. Okay, so we're doing 2 things. We're feeding the homeless, and we're also doing art in the afternoon. Laura has arranged for some of the folks, I believe, from Anderson Ranch to come down and do an art project. So the way it's going to work is on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings, we'll be preparing for feeding the homeless. So Tuesday morning, we'll do the shopping. Wednesday morning, we'll do most of the cooking. And then Thursday morning, we'll pack it all up, get it organized to take over to the Methodist Church on Cooper. The requirement for the interim to feed the homeless is you have to be able to go to the church Thursday night to actually feed the homeless. We go over there at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We will have the nurseries open for the moms to have daycare for their babies. The homeless start eating or are open to come into the church at 5 o'clock. We're usually feeding them from 5 to 6, 6:15, and then we clean up and are out of there by 7. The students who are on this interim need to make certain that they have transportation from the church Thursday evening. Their parents either need to pick them up there, or we can get them back to school if they have to get their babies, and they can get picked up at the school, but the school does not provide transportation. And just to let you know, this year that trip is already full, so there isn't any more room. If you haven't already signed up for that, it's closed. And then in the afternoon, we're doing art projects here at school, lunch on own, and no cost.
All right, so to wrap things up, things that you guys need to know, and then we'll kind of open it up for questions. One, students should have already filled out our interim applications with their advisors at school, and we are in process of having all of the trip leaders look over those. Keep in mind that the school does have a new scholarship program this year called the Soul Shine Fund, and that is basically offering to each student $100 per year to apply to their interims. They do have to fill out an application. There is a process associated with that. If students choose not to use that Soul Shine account this year and they are a continuing student, then that will continue to the next year. So if you're a freshman this year, you have $100 available, you don't use it, next year you'll have $200 available. If you don't use it, the next year you'll have $300. So it's a really cool program, so they do need to fill out an application for that fund. Also, every trip will require a parent permission slip form filled out and the students sign it. It is not the same thing as what you filled out when you came to school here as part of the application process. This is a separate permission slip, so students will have to have their parents sign that. They will not be allowed to participate without a parent signature. So those will be going out this week, and we'll continue to encourage students to get those turned in as we get closer. So keep in mind, you're always welcome to ask questions. Students can contact the advisor that is in charge of that interim for questions about those trips. But for now, we're going to go ahead and open it up for general questions for you guys. I'll just unmute your microphones, and you guys can ask away. So any questions?
I'm just curious when we have to make the decision for which interim we're going on.
Good question. Rick, you gonna?
Hi, Dan. Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Chloe has put in an application with the California trip as her #1 option, and so. And I believe she's put a deposit in. Is that true?
She better have. If she spent it at Starbucks, she's in big trouble. Yes, she did.
Okay. If she did, then she's in and she's on that trip in terms of when you need to make. Now, you could always, at this point, you could, change your mind and do something else. But at this point, she is locked in to going on the Los Angeles trip.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to know for sure.
Yeah, she's officially in.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you. Anything else?
I don't believe so.
Well, great. So,
We're both in the same room, so we got a lot of echo going on. Any other questions?
Chloe, you have, oh, there you are. You have any questions?
Hey, Rick. So, are you muted us?
No, I didn't. No, we're still on.
No, the line's muted.
No, if you click on it when it's muted, it's red.
I'm not sure I believe you.
They can hear us.
They're laughing at us.
I know, don't say anything obnoxious.
We can't hear you. It's true.
See, I told you.
Yes, I can stop recording.
Okay, next question. When do you need all the money by?
before we leave,
If she applies for one of those scholarships, how soon would we know if she gets it?
It has to go through Lee first, so her advisor, Rick, will have to give the application to Lee to look over, and last trimester it took about a week for me to
Okay,
get,
so we need to get on that.
probably.
Okay.
I wanted to ask Chloe, has she filled out the scholarship application?
No.
No, not yet.
Do that tomorrow.
All right, I will. I'll get it from you first thing.
Any other questions?
I guess not.
All right, well, that's all we have today. This video of the presentation will be uploaded to the YMHS.org website, so it will be available for all parents to view. And I believe that we're also going to put those permission slips up on the website as well if you wanted to download them and print them yourself and have that signed. Otherwise, students are welcome to ask questions at school. You could always contact us here as well, parents, and be looking for those permission slips to come home. So that
I do have one other question. How come you've never done this before, or have we just missed it? It's kind of good to know what interims are out there for her.
Well, we do have interim meetings we've had before, like we had one during the parent-teacher conference time, first trimester. This is our first WebEx meeting as a school, and I think it's just because I hadn't suggested it yet.
Oh, so you figured it out.
Yeah, it's true. But it's okay. I mean, we just hadn't done it before, and the way that things worked out for a live meeting didn't work out so well this trimester, so this was just the other option, and I think it worked out pretty well.
It's perfect.
So.
Well, excellent.
Well,
thank you. It's good to know what our options were.
Awesome. Glad to have you on.
Thank you for calling in.
So.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see students at school, and parents, if you have any other questions, feel free to send them our way.
Thank you.
All right. Bye then.